Episode 5 of Reacher Season 1 begins with Reacher, Finley, and Roscoe leaving the train station without the files they were expecting to get from Molly. Unfortunately, they had to leave Molly behind, injured, and called the police for help. They couldn't stay to help her because they might be blamed for what happened. On their way back, Reacher stops by a house where he often sees a neglected dog in the yard. Despite Reacher's efforts to help the dog by giving it water and showing kindness, its owner doesn't take care of it. Reacher gets angry and punches the owner in the nose. Then, he chains up the owner and takes the dog with him, planning to bring it to a shelter where it will be properly cared for. With Joe and Molly both dead, Reacher feels a heavy burden on his shoulders. He stops by a farm on the way out of town, curious about why there's so much animal feed there. He also notices the same strange grass on the ground that he saw at Paul's place. To get some answers, Reacher confronts KJ at a diner. After exchanging heated words, KJ gets punched several times by Reacher. However, Clinner Sr. arrives just as Finley and Roscoe show up with guns drawn. Unfortunately, Teal fires Roscoe for mixing up files and lying. The diner's owner, Earl, blames Reacher for starting the fight. However, Clinner Sr. decides not to press charges to avoid drawing attention to his business. In the story, Reacher figures out that a crucial clue is hidden in a gun box given to Roscoe. Inside the box, they find a key that leads them to a barber named Mosley. Reacher suspects something fishy because a balding man wouldn't need frequent barber visits. They discover that Gray kept files for Roscoe about an investigation, and Mosley was paid to hide them. These files reveal information about 116 cattle and their connection to animal feed. When the cattle number reaches 120, it triggers an inspection by state authorities. So, by keeping the count just below 120, they could bring in animal feed without raising any red flags. Reacher's hunch was correct in the end. All the money given to the town seems like a way to control the people. If they accept the donations, they might feel pressured to keep quiet about anything shady, or risk losing funding. Margrave is chosen because it's a strategic location for distributing things, connecting to 6 states according to their map. This makes it easy to avoid police detection. They also figure out that Gray didn't kill himself, he was murdered. Reacher tells Roscoe to use her anger as motivation, recalling a time when he didn't stand up to a bully. Neagley calls with important information, using coded language for Reacher to meet her and share it. Joe's note with JW leads to Jimmy Dupree Wilkes, an EPA investigator, who was murdered in his home. The FBI claims it was a random robbery, but the silenced murder weapon and lack of stolen items suggest otherwise. Wilkes was beaten after death, similar to Joe's fate, tying the cases together. A Memphis cop named Ocon was also suspicious of Wilkes' case, focusing on toxic pollutant reports. Reacher shares his concerns about animal feed with Neagley, who agrees, earning Reacher's approval. During the investigation, Roscoe finds photos of Gray's head injuries. The official report says he hit his head, but closer inspection reveals micro-lacerations resembling a diamond shape. Jasper suggests it matches Teal's diamond-topped cane, linking Teal to Gray's death. Roscoe storms into the station and punches Finley several times, angering him. Realizing she'll be wanted by the law if she stays, Roscoe decides to lay low and care for Charlie and the kids. Meanwhile, Neagley and Reacher meet with officers, including Orsian, and learn about someone called the Viking. To gather more information, they communicate with Finley, who agrees to an illegal search. In a surprising turn, one of the officers with Orsian is corrupt. He shoots his partner and tearfully promises a quick death. Neagley and Reacher push the metal screen into the corrupt officer, causing him to crash into a lake. He admits being threatened by people with accents but doesn't know much more. They escape and Neagley decides to investigate the Viking further. Meanwhile, Finley breaks into Clinner's place and discovers Clinner Sr. dead with his throat cut, realizing Clinner wasn't the one in charge. Stay tuned for next episode. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel.